And we are live. Ursula, welcome to the Fight and Fit show. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Great to be here.
Good. And so you are literally, you're really and truly one of our living legends. You, for those who don't know, I start work at 5:15 most mornings, and most mornings Ursula is out on the roads running, and I beat my wee horn at her because she's already on the roads killing it. Do you want to tell the guys a little bit about that morning routine?
Well, I try to get out 4 to 5 mornings a week. I've always been an early bird because when my kids were small, it was the only time I could get out to exercise or to run. So I just seem to stick to the routine, and that's hence the reason I'm out that time of the morning.
So that's it. So just kind of started, and you got into running when the kids were young, or were you running before you had kids?
I used to be in running clubs when I was a kid at school, and then when I gave it up, when I got married and had kids, I was in JJB when we used to be JJB gym, and a friend of mine, a personal trainer, Anthony Begley, he wanted us to do the women's mini marathon, and I hadn't ran in years, and he says, I'll train you, and you can do it. So he trained us, and that's how I got back into running then. So
Brilliant. And how long were you off running at that stage?
Oh, I'd say it would have been about 10 years.
10 years, okay. 10 years break. And were you nervous? Were you apprehensive about doing another run, or did it kind of feel like you were slipping right back into the old running shoes?
Like when I started off again, like it was just like a couch to 5K. I could barely run down the road, and I was stopping, and I was walking, and I was running again. It took me a good while to get back into it. And then I got back into I done the women's mini marathon then, and I done a few races after that, and then I hooked up with another personal trainer in JJB, and she asked me to do Dublin marathons. She said she'd train me for it. So she was training me. I was doing PT sessions with her, and then she was out on the road running with me as well. And then 2 weeks before the marathon, I broke my hip, so I didn't get to do the marathon. So yeah, I had
couple of things. So you got talked from a mini marathon all the way to an actual marathon.
Yeah.
That's a massive jump. A mini marathon is a 5K or 10K?
10K.
10K, okay. So fair enough. You're training for a fair bit of distance. It's not a Mickey Mouse 5K in terms of distance. Like most people could run a 5K. 10K gonna require a lot of commitment. And then you somehow got talked into a marathon. Is that because you wanted to, or is that because you're really easily swayed?
Suppose half and half.
Half and half, yeah. There was a want in you for it, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. And so yeah, you broke your hip. Tell us about that. What bloody happened? How did you manage that?
Well, I was training 5 days a week, and then I was out on the road. Look, it was the early days. I didn't know about stretching or anything like that. I just went out, put the runners on, ran, didn't cool down, didn't warm up, just went out on the roads, and I ended up getting a stress fracture then in my hip, so had to get it pinned.
Wow.
So I did think about doing it on crutches because but I wasn't allowed.
Jesus, that's insane. But yeah, no, that's definitely ill-advised, and probably, not a great training camp, all in all, if we weren't kind of covering our bases on all ends. But listen, I think everybody makes mistakes when they're trying something new. How else do you learn? That's how I know I learned, by running face first into a brick wall, and obviously you do something similar.
Yeah.
So okay, interesting. And so where do we pick it up from then? So you had the stress fracture. How did you deal with the stress fracture? What was the recovery time? What was the recovery protocol?
I'd say it was about 8 to 12 months. So
wow.
I took up the bike then. I started cycling, but I wasn't that fussed in the cycling because you need to be out. Like if you went out for a decent run, you get an hour. But on the bike for decent mileage, you'd need about 2 hours on it, and it was very
Right.
time consuming. So, the last time I think I cycled then was my 40th birthday. I just wanted to cycle to Dublin. It's just something I wanted to do. So we cycled to Dublin.
That's
And
amazing. From the dock, you left the town and away off to Dublin with you. He's hardly took the motorway. Is there back roads to Dublin, or how does
on the
that work?
back roads, we went by sleighing up the hilly roads, and yeah, all the back roads. So
What's the distance? How long did it take?
there was a gang of us doing it for charity, so we stopped off every. It was a couple. I think it was about 5 6 hours because we stopped off, for food and that every couple of towns. We'd stop
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
So
It was a little bit casual.
yeah, like it
And
wasn't a race or anything. No.
yeah, did you do a big training camp for it, or was it just kind of something you decided to do, or you're all kind of doing a bit of cycling? You said, "Oh, listen, we're probably fit for it."
No, myself and my sister trained for it. My sister was into cycling, so the two of us done our own training for it, and then we'd cycle as far as maybe Sunday we go away, cycle up to Slane or Colin or somewhere, and try and get used to the roads and go
Brilliant.
back.
Yes, yes. You did your due diligence and you're putting in the miles.
Yeah.
So you and the sister were training, and what about the others? How many others went?
I'd say in all there was about 35 of us all together.
Sure, yeah, kind of. So just kind of a community cyclist that you probably didn't know anybody, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, it was the Malachy's football club out where my sister lives. They were organising it, so
Interesting. So about pretty much just you and your sister fucking pumping pedals.
yeah.
That's class, deadly, unbelievable. That's a really really cool, really interesting and cool thing to do, especially if you're 40. That's a great milestone, something you'll definitely remember. So something I am interested. How did you hear about us? What kind of got you in the fighting fit doors?
Well, it was during lockdown. I've heard, I knew people, runners and that, Laura Matheson, that she was telling me she used to be at it, and I used to see Ronan Callan as well. I used to see his Strava fighting fit. We'd be running and doing his fighting fit workouts, and I was interested in getting back. Like I'd done strength training years ago. There was a guy, Paul McGee, and he was down in that your business park as well, and he gave it up then, and I never got back into. I was just constantly running the whole time or doing a bit of gym, swimming or whatever. And I just when I seen the fight and fit thing came up on Facebook, I clicked into it by mistake, and then a wee message popped up. How can we help you and all this, and I said, oh, maybe this is fate.
There
So
you go.
yeah, I answered it, and then I said, oh, I'd be interested in joining, and I had a call then with Stephen, and we got set up then, and then I started. Initially, I had said to Stephen that I only wanted to do 2 days a week. I wanted it to, help me with my running.
Yeah.
I just got hooked on it then, and I'm doing 5 days a week now. So.
And what was it that made you want to kind of supplement your running with some weight training? Why did you think was there kind of holes in your game that you recognized? Did you keep getting injured? Were you maybe just looking for another edge? Like, why did you start weight training? Why not just kind of double down on the runs or whatever? Why weight training?
Because I was out running the roads, my knees were tired, sore, stiff, and dragging myself out of bed in the mornings, and I knew myself. I said, and I like from years of sports and that, I know that you have to incorporate like weight training in, even 2 days a week in if you're doing running, cycling, or whatever like that. Plus my age as well. I know strength training. I was told that actually by doctors when I broke my hip that for the bone density and that to do the strength training. So yeah, I just wanted to get into it and build up my muscles and make myself stronger, a better runner. So.
And did you have any kind of concerns? Were you afraid of getting injured? Were you afraid of lifting weights? Were you just were you intimidated by the gym? Did you have any kind of apprehension to joining, or were you like, ah, listen, this is something I need. I'm just going to get stuck in.
I was terrified.
Terrified.
And I seen everyone lifting these big weights, and I said, oh my God, I'll never be able to do this. And seeing people, hanging off bars and everything, I says, God, I'll never be able to do this. And
yeah, and forgive me, was your first sessions? Were you in the PT studio they were in now, or was your first sessions in the high performance unit, the big spot?
in the high performance unit.
Interesting. All right. So you were inducted into the level method. That was your kind of first fighting fit experience. That's cool. Yeah, because I love the level method, and you got bit by the bug for a while, and you were chasing your colours.
Yeah, yeah. No, I got so addicted to that. At first I couldn't understand it. You know, I was there and I'd
Mm-hmm.
be looking at the screen. Am I yellow? Or what am I doing here? And but then when it was all properly explained to me and that, and I got hooked on it, and every day I'd begin in practicing trying to level up double unders or pull ups or chin ups, whatever. Like, and it was addictive, but it was a great way of, sort of building up your strength and that,
This is
to
it. Setting
working
small
towards.
targets.
Yeah, yeah.
And then every once in a while coming in then with a big milestone, oh, I got my pull-ups, I'm getting my orange band, I'm moving on to blue now soon. If I just get my rings, or I just get my this, or I get my that. And it was encouragement to kind of focus on your blind spots an awful lot of the time.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was. I really enjoyed the level, man. It was very good.
Ursula came in running red. Everything else,
Yeah,
orange,
yeah. Once
blue,
I got the
yellow.
high in the run, and I was
Yeah, of
happy.
course you did. Yeah, of course you did. So you flat out running. And so yeah, my next question, I suppose, is what was your biggest accomplishment from that phase of your training, from that level method training? What was the kind of the biggest achievement in terms of kind of getting a color band or achieving a certain grade in any kind of level? Like, what was the one you're most proud of?
Oh, my ring dips. I
Ring dips.
tried for months and months, and I got PT sessions with Chris and everything. I tried. I says, I'll never be able to do these. And then all of a sudden, I got one, and then I could get two, and I could get three, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I was so happy. Like, I
So
never thought I could.
it's
Huh?
interesting you say that. It's interesting you say all of a sudden, after weeks and weeks and months of consistent effort, all of a sudden, what wasn't there is there. And it's interesting that the kind of concept of the overnight success. It's like people look at somebody and all of a sudden they just kind of cross that threshold and they get something, and it does look like an overnight success. But the thing people don't see, like, well before the ring dips, well, it's like literally schoolgirl running. It's like after that then more training, more cycling, just kind of this commitment and consistency with physical effort, and then again obviously kind of applying that then and going, okay, well listen, if I just kind of organize my resources and funnel it in towards getting a dip. It's like that kind of mentality that you developed over years and years and years and years is the reason that once you hit a wall and you got a little bit frustrated, you couldn't do something, instead of going, well, again, initially, oh, I can't do this, but I'm gonna plug away, plug away, plug away. I'll try this, I'll try this, I'll try that. I'll listen to a coach. I'll get this, I'll get that, and eventually, boom, you got it. And so again, showing very much a growth mindset there, which is amazing. Like showing that I know I can't get it, but my God, I'm going to move in that direction to the best of my ability. And that's something that is you all over, level method or not. Now we've kind of moved away from that into the new place, and it's just the next thing. What is your big goal at the minute? What's your big focus now that we're not doing the level method and you're here in the gym?
Um, well, I wanted the pull up. I got it. Now I want
Pull up.
two. Yeah. Now I want
One,
two,
two.
maybe three. So yeah,
Class.
I'm working on that next. So
That's
um
your pet project at the minute.
yeah, I know my weakness at the moment would probably be the barbell overhead, the overhead raise, is it?
Seated shoulder, yeah, seated barbell overhead press, yep.
Yeah, that's probably my weakest thing at the moment. So I need to probably try and get working on that and hopefully build on that.
Cool, excellent. And obviously, one's push, one's pull, but you're definitely working upper body. So just kind of upper body strength is something that's a big priority for you now.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So again, not a big fan of the squats or the deadlifts, maybe.
No, you see, because when I lift heavy, then my legs get tired and then it affects me running. So sort of,
Yeah. Exactly. I was thinking that. This is it. So your legs priority is to run. Your arms priority is to lift and get strong. Badass. No bother to you. Obviously, again, listen, a bit of it, and you know this as well. Deadlifts and squats with good form and good range of motion are going to really, really help kind of your legs and improve the bone density that you want to kind of support your running and all the muscles that are going to carry you and absorb impact. So definitely still worthwhile doing legs. I would tell any runners listening, I wouldn't just be doing arms and leaving the roads to work your legs, because obviously they're different stimulus and different impact. Now that's not to say just because that's your goal doesn't mean you're not training legs. Ursula does not skip leg days by any stretch. And so again, often enough, even if it means running 10 mile first, then coming in and doing Bulgarian split squats. Yeah, absolute animal. Guys, again, just credit where credit's due. Ursula ran 10 mile before a fighting fit session the other day. It was absolutely phenomenal. 12 mile. Oh, am I right in saying, or maybe it was Joanne? I have a 10-mile race in my head. One of the guys doing a 10-mile race. That's where I got to 10 miles. 12 miles, Ursula. You're insane. That is sensational. Well done. Insane in the best possible way. That's badass. Your first fighting fit session. Do you remember it? Do you remember what the workout was? Do you remember how you felt? Obviously, you said you were a little bit terrified. Do you remember anything about specifics?
I remember walking in and I hid at the back of the class because I was afraid. I said, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do. I don't know. And I remember someone saying, just ask Brandon up there. And every time I think, God, what's that guy's name? I can't remember his name, so I can't ask him. I can't just say hi. So I was actually a girl I used to be at school with, Cora, and she sort of helped me through the first session. So I think it was a bit of skipping and it was cardio running up and down, and then there was weights. I can't remember what weights we were doing, but I sort of got through it, and then I suppose by the end of the week I was sort of used to looking at the screen and knowing my colour and that, which was a good help. So
yeah, so a lot of cardio. Your first session was probably a nice introduction session.
yeah, I was waiting for all the cardio. I says I'll leave the weights, so if there's cardio I'll be happy. So
that's good. And again, definitely one of your bigger strengths is the cardio side of things. But again, obviously, if we lean into our strengths all the time, often enough we stay where we are. And so again, that little bit of push is always good. And that's one of the things that I love about Fighting Fit, even just the community, is that there is a culture of, hey, listen, cover your blind spots. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, listen, I know you're good at this, but here, what about your shoulder press there? Or again, if we kind of see that somebody's struggling with something, it's it's all love and it's all support, but there is a little bit of challenging that goes on for those who are competitive, let's say. And so again, you kind of have that, like even like, for example, there yourself and Cora, teasing each other during the workouts. Oh, is that what you're lifting? Is this what you're lifting? And again, I find that community and culture is really important to help with the consistency of things. Because again, if you didn't have it, like, imagine Fighting Fit with none of the people that you currently like. It's like, or that you get on with, or your friends and you've got a good relationship with. Like, a big part of it for me anyway, I know for me coming in the mornings, like, you recognize certain heads. Every class brings a new energy because you get the same kind of people coming along for the most part, for the same class. And so, you get to know people, to create an atmosphere, create bonds with people. And that's a reason to keep showing up, if anything else.
yeah, oh, definitely.
Especially, go ahead, sorry.
And like it, not only in the morning class, like very seldom I go to an evening class, and I have gone once or twice, but like everybody seems to know everyone because you have the Fighting Fit members page, and you'll always see somebody posting on it, or something. So like, even if you go to an evening class and you haven't spoken to anyone before, they'll always come up and talk to you because they know you because of the page and that, so
yeah, it is. And again, especially when you are a very active member of the community, like, you're gonna, like, if you're losing weight, if you're doing your challenges, if you're getting your hoodies, getting your t-shirts, if you're posting on the page yourself, it's like people do get to recognize. And again, like, we do spotlight posts, we do the mugs, we do as much trying to we do podcasts like this. We're trying to make people know who you are, so that way you're part of the community. It's like you're somebody that people know, you're somebody people recognize, you're possibly somebody that people look up to because you've got something that they want. And I feel like that's a big part of the journey that needs to happen, is that we need to take responsibility for the people that are under us who are struggling with the things that we now take for granted. At least I do anyway, as a coach. Like, it's my job to share this and do this kind of stuff. You don't have any responsibility other to yourself than to just do the work. But when we do kind of understand it, it's like, listen, I've got something really, really valuable to share. Even if you think that you don't, it's like, you can get up in the morning, every morning, and be consistent with your runs, be consistent with your workouts, be consistent with your nutrition. And just to get to that place is like, requires organization, understanding, strategy, make sure sure you understand the right nutrition numbers, like calories, protein, this kind of stuff. And then once you get that and you can do it consistently, it's like so many people would love that for themselves. Like just to be able to maintain a healthy body fat and be fit to run 5K, let alone the rest of it, lift, bench press half their body weight or squat their body weight or whatever it is. It's like these things that fit people take for granted, like you there, for example, like I did a pull-up, I got one, all of a sudden that's not good enough, I want two. It's like, just to understand, like to get to the place that could do one is like to highlight that path and journey for somebody could be insanely valuable. Because again, like the people that I look up to and the people that I listen to are the people who have the thing that I want. So if I seen a podcast titled Ursula Noone lost 1 stone, ran a marathon, this is how built 5 pounds of muscle, this is how she did it, like boom, that's exactly what I want. How do you do that? What's your secret, Ursula? And so again, you've got so much to share, hence the reason that you're on this call. I wanted to pick your brain a little bit. So I suppose the next thing I would like to talk about is your recent victory on the scales. So you recently lost a stone on the Kickstarter. You earned your Fight and Fit mug. How did you do it? What is your secret? Do you have any tips?
Funny enough, when I started Kickstarter, I never last with diets. Like I'm good at my protein and all that, but with diets, no. I was surprised when I started the Kickstarter. It was so easy, if I can say that word, because yeah, I know I dropped to 1,400 calories from 1,800. And the first week or two now I was hungry, and because I was still running and training, I was sort of weak at some of the sessions. So it just took a week or two to get in and know what foods to be eating before I was training. And once I got in on that, I'd sit down in the evening times, I'd take out my fitness pal, I'd plan my whole meals for the next day. So everything's down. I know what calories I'm taking, I know what carbs I'm taking, I know what protein I'm taking, all was down. So next day I just looked at me, right, I'm eating this, and I followed it, and I found it great.
Okay.
That
And so why do you think that this time was different than maybe any other time that you tried to lose weight? Like what was it clicked in your head that you said, oh, I could, like, is this your first genuine attempt at it? If maybe you just kind of never really attempted a strong goal weight loss before? What was it that changed?
Well, first of all, I wasn't really doing it. Well, I was doing it to lose weight, but I know I didn't need to lose much weight, but I wanted to try and improve my running performance, because the lighter you are, the faster you run. Well,
Less dead weight.
yeah.
If it's fat, trying to get yeah, exactly, yeah.
Secondly, accountability. Definitely even with running, I've always had running coaches. I need accountability. I'm no good on my own. I'm not. I've always been like that. I need accountability. So within the Kickstarter, like there was accountability there. There was check-in forms. There was the Zoom calls. And then there was the group. You're putting up your food, what you're eating every day. You're taking pictures and you're putting up your food. And you're looking at other people's, oh, that looks nice. I didn't realize there was less calories and all that. It was all that helped me. I thought it was great.
So it was the Kickstarter support system really that did it for you?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Like you're
So
not
yeah.
on your own. Like, so you had your wee group there, and then you had the wee challenge of climbing the mountain and that. But sure, for competitive people like me, it was just how to get up to the top of that mountain. So
Yeah.
that was my aim.
Yeah. Badass. And this is it. Like one of the biggest important factors with people is that they're bought in. So obviously the Kickstarter is €99. All right, so that's not nothing for what you get. It's good value, but at the same time, it's £100, and £100 to waste. Most people will feel the sting of. You could have loads of money, and if you're in any way frugal, €100 is noticeable to miss. Nobody wants to piss away €100 for the most part, and so again, when people pay, they pay attention. That's a philosophy that we've always stuck by ever since we were giving out free memberships and free weeks and free trials, and people would come to one and didn't give a shite because they weren't invested. And so that initial psychological trick or tool, you could say, is a big step forward, because it means that people have paid €100, they're serious. So now we've got serious people, or at least the slightly more serious people, people who with €100 of good intentions. All right, and so that's the first step, and then the next step is it's the watcher effect. It's like right well. It's like if I'm standing beside you and you're doing your deadlift, your form just gets a little bit better. You just know, oh, he's watching now. I'm just going to tighten it up a little bit. And it's the same with the nutrition. It's like, listen, I might not get it perfect, but I'm going to get it slightly better than I was before. And listen, I'm €100 in. I'm focusing on getting it better. In for penny, in for pound. I might as well just bloody get the most out of this. And so again, sometimes people just need a little hand on the back just to gently nudge them in the directions they're going to go. And then all the momentum and the good routine and structure that you had in place already, I would say, stood to you massively.
Yeah.
Because again, like a Fight and Fit membership at base, is asking people to hit X amount of protein and X amount of steps. For some people that might just be normal life, like myself. I'm pretty lucky with my physical job. Or for other people it might mean scheduling a walk, and then on top of that then you have your workouts to do as well. So if you're hitting protein for the most part 3 times a day, you're getting a workout in 4 times a week, you're getting out for a walk or a run 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 or 7 days a week depending on how intense it is, it's like that already is like 70% of the way. So then the last thing is then going, okay, right, I need to tighten up the calories a little bit. So was there any kind of major changes that you made to your nutrition, or any kind of foods that had to go for you, or any kind of routines at the weekend that had to change? Is there any kind of big things or even small things that had a big effect?
Yeah, probably takeaways at the weekend. Like I know, like everyone say, "Oh, I'll have one takeaway treat at the weekend," but like we were going out and we're having maybe 2, 3 takeaways a weekend, and I stopped that. And because I stopped that in the Kickstarter, the whole household here stopped it, so nobody was getting takeaways. And then when the Kickstarter stopped, uh, myself and Peter says, "Oh, should we get it? We get a takeaway this weekend. The Kickstarter's over." So 2 of us got a takeaway, and next morning 2 of us went out for a run, and 2 of us felt like crap. He says, "You know what? Not having them takeaways, like, we felt so much better. It was only when we were back getting the takeaways we realized we didn't need them at all. Like they were just sort of hampering our running and that." So
Yeah, I've definitely been on the takeout train for a wee while, and it's a hard one to break, and it's one that once you break, you're like, why was I doing that for so long? And then listen, I'm nobody to talk about, like perfect nutrition and not eating crap food. Like I love to try and fit it in by all means, but like I said, it's like it's not necessary, and it's just so part of the culture to just to do it for the sake of doing it. It's convenient, it's handy, but if you get into a good routine 5, 6, 7 days a week of prepping your own meals that taste pretty good, it's like, and you feel better from them, and especially if you're kind of committed to your training, your performance, and you do notice the benefit, it's like it's not that great, for some deep fat fried chips and a cod steak and a burger, it's kind of all right. Like again, even the food in general, it's like when you don't get it really regularly, it's really nice. But if you're getting it every week, it just kind of gets a bit meh, to be fair. And as I said, the impact that it can have on your weight can be massive, because for a lot of people, they are trying to lose weight. And the takeaway of the weekend, like, it eats into the small deficit that they've managed to create, because they're not making massive, dents in their weight. But they would have got maybe 3/4 of a pound or a pound off, which is significant. But again, that's just kind of pulls it back. And so you just, like, I remember when I was doing the Kickstarter, I got great results for the first 2 weeks, and then for the next 2 weeks, not this Kickstarter, previous one, I got two takeouts, and then I realized I got the first one, and then I said, right, I'll pull that back, and then I had the next one, and then the next week I was the same again. I was like, I'm literally just out working like the week for this takeaway, and it's like I still lost half a pound, a quarter pound, but I was like, this could have been 2, 3 pounds. I could have been really happy and seen a difference. And so again, yeah, I just cut it out. Or if we are going to get takeouts, it's like, for example, like, you don't need to get a chicken fillet and a curry chip and a Coke. It's like, just get a small hamburger and a small chip if you really need to. Or again, yeah, just fake away. Can't rate the fake aways enough. A few chips in the air fryer, bit of seasoned chicken and some peppers. It's like, listen, what more do you want?
exactly.
Anyway, rant over about takeaways. So yeah, what else do we have? So diet tips, yeah. So the takeaways went. Anything else?
Probably snacking on just like when I do the shopping, they're always giving out here. My two, like they're in their 20s, but they're always, "Oh, there's no bars in the press, there's no chocolate," or so I always fill the press full of chocolate, and then of course then like I'm up in the kennels, I come down and I just, oh sure, I'll have a bar of chocolate, and then come down the evening, sit and maybe packet of biscuits. I'll have 1 or 2, but 1 or 2 leads to half a packet of biscuits. Like I just can't eat 1 or 2. So I stopped that in the evenings. You see, I just, if I know if I open a packet of biscuits, I will eat half of them. So I just don't open the biscuits. I just stopped biscuits, and yeah, well, I have a nut snack.
What kind of snack would you have? What did you replace it with?
I go for them for fill bars, because you've the bar I take it there's 20 grams protein in it, so I get my protein in plus I get my wee snack as well. So
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, 100%. So this is it. So yeah, it's like the calories are probably around the same. You know, they're a little bit more expensive, so you're probably not going to buy 5 of them and eat them all. So again, we're eating one. You know, we're making a step towards our protein, and the protein probably makes it a little bit more filling as well. So yeah, just a more clever swap, and just not nearly as frequent.
yeah,
Yeah, and again, like the thing of coming back from the kennels, I'm just going to take what's easy. It's like that. Like people trade the body of their dreams out, just one biscuit at a time. In some cases, I know I have. You know, it's very very easy done.
yeah,
So no doubt about it. Little small decisions and habits. The issue is for most people is breaking that momentum. It can seem really really impossible. Have you ever been through a period of time where you've been trying to break the momentum? You just can't get around it. You just can't get. Oh, the biscuits. It's been 6 weeks of trying to quit these biscuits and I just can't.
yeah. Yeah, like so, especially the dark evenings. I used like I don't drink much tea, but in the dark evenings I'd sit down TV and have a cup of tea and have the biscuits and then dump the biscuits into the tea, and it
Glorious.
was just in a winter's evening sitting there in front of the fire, just that was heaven to me. But
Now,
just
listen, I think that as an isolated experience is top tier. Like, I would give that like a good movie, nice warm house, chocolate biscuit, digestive, and a cup of tea, like a Dunkin' session. You can't beat it. But if that becomes the routine, that's a 500 calorie routine. It can get quite expensive in terms of like a caloric debt, let's say. So again, it just does rack up. And as I said, same way as a night out with your friends is amazing. If that becomes a weekly thing, it can be impactful on your health, let's say. And so again, yeah, we just have to be aware of what we enter into our routine. And obviously, listen, by all means, you can have a Dunkin' session, maybe once a month, maybe every 3 weeks, but yeah, every night of the week, once a week even can be impactful, especially if you're on the upper end of your fitness journey, or if you're a small woman with an inactive job, like that 4 or 5 biscuits could literally just be your deficit. And so again, it can be quite tough. And so these small habits can have a massive impact. So how do you stay consistent with steps? I suppose that's down to your running mainly. So how many? So 6 runs a week we're doing at the minute.
no, well at the moment 5, because I will be up to 6 when I start the marathon training, but it's 5 at the moment. So yeah, well that's I get those steps in, and then well, walking in the kennels too. I'm constantly on my feet up there with the dog. So between the running and walk, that's how I get my steps in.
What's your average?
Um, daily you'll probably be at between 18 to 23, 25,000,
Depending on the miles of the run.
depending on the miles and depending, like some days I'd have help up in the kennel, so I wouldn't be walking as much. So it'd be in probably 13 to 18,000, depends.
Okay. And quick plug, why not? Sure, plug it away. Ursula, tell them all about it. Your kennels. Do you wanna share with the guys? Maybe you want to keep it a secret?
Oh, I have 27 kennels. Um, we do overnight boarding, and I'm open 7 days a week. We don't do daycare at the moment because we're too busy. So people go in the holidays, they leave their dogs with me, and we look after them till they come back and give them updates, send them pictures up on the page, and if they want to know anything about their dog, and we just update them, and that's it then.
What's the name of the business?
Bed and biscuit.
Bed and Biscuit, guys. The best name in town. I literally cannot think of a better name for an overnight stay in place for dogs, or a kenneling company. Bed and Biscuit is that's, guys. If you have any dogs and you're a Fighting Fit member, what you might as well send them to Bed and Biscuit with Ursula. God knows she's going to run the legs of them. And so yeah, so what's your weekly exercise routine? We got 5 runs. Then how many workouts, Fighting Fit workouts, are we doing?
I do 5 fighting fit workouts. Well, 4 to 5. I haven't. Some Fridays I don't go. If I have a long run on Saturday, I try to skip the Fridays because my legs will be tired. So 4 to 5 workouts a week.
Cool. And something as well I feel like we should mention is your load management, because obviously, listen, you're doing 10 sessions. A good training strategy generally is you do your priorities first. Now, so the general thinking for weight training is that you don't usually get as much out of your weight training if you do cardio first, because obviously you're fatigued. But if you're trying to get better at running solely, running fatigued isn't a great idea either. So if we're doing like a hard leg session and then you go and try and do your run, like your miles, your pace is going to be all over the place. And so Ursula does all of her runs first for 95% of the time, I would assume. Am I right?
Yeah.
And again, so this is it. So the runs come first, and then she does the weight training after to make sure that the run is getting the best version of Ursula, which for running, again, probably something that we could maybe look into in the future is maybe tandeming that a little bit, because obviously you do want some of the maximal weightlifting benefits, so it does actually strengthen your running. But as I said, yeah, for the most part, a lot of the sport specific training is the best thing to do, is making sure that that's getting the fresh legs. But every once in a while, making sure the weight's getting fresh legs would be important as well. But am I right in saying that there are days that you do your sessions? Like, is it a weekly thing that you do your fighting fit session first, or does that just kind of happen as needed?
What do you mean?
So when is there, like, how frequently would you get a fighting fit session and do your weight training first? Because I know I do see you some days coming in and you're not running.
Oh, they'll probably because I'm running here in the track.
Oh really? Yeah,
Yes.
hilarious. No bother, yeah.
Yeah, if I'm not in town running, I'll be running out in the track. But if I don't, yeah, some days now I just like today I got up, I parked fighting for the 5 o'clock, and I got out of the car to stretch, and I just was too tired to go back into car and went home. So then came back in,
Too
like
too tired from, as in like needed more sleep, or too physically tired from just all the running and the training?
just physically tired.
Yeah.
So I went
So now
home.
listen, that's a tough thing to do. The fact that you like showed up, like drove in, made the effort, were there ready, and then still decided, actually, no, I think the best thing for me is rest. That can be really, really hard for some people to do.
Yeah, yeah.
It
But
could be
then I
really easy
went.
to do now in some cases. You'd be like, listen, thank God, I'm just going to go back to bed. It's not feeling good this morning.
No, I didn't go back to bed. No, I couldn't go back to bed. But I went home, had a rest, just sat there on my phone or whatever. Like I came back in and I had a great gym session. So one
Well,
counteracted the other. Like so, you know.
yeah, and it's great. It's great to hear you listen to your body and you're tuning again. You're not just kind of running for running's sake. It's like, listen, I don't think that this is going to be a productive run, so I'm just going to knock it in the head. That's great job. Very, very smart. All right, cool. We're getting into our quick fire round now. So just a couple of quick questions people might be interested to know. Probably something I'm going to ask on every podcast. So, what is your favorite workout song? Do you have one? Or running song?
Oh, probably Castles in the Sky.
Cast in the Sky by who?
Cascada.
Class. Okay. Nice. Excellent. Guys, definitely want to add to your playlist. If you're interested, feel free to judge Ursula's taste in music. Uh, what is your favorite flavor protein shake? What way are you on at the minute?
Strawberry, strawberry, strawberry.
Strawberry. Yeah. Are you just a chronic strawberry? You've been strawberry for the last 12 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Not for changing. Yeah, I'm on
Not
the
time I'll
chocolate.
change to the chocolate, but I think it's very heavy. I'd rather the strawberry.
Double rich chocolate or chocolate hazelnut?
Double rich.
Yeah, it is. It is a little bit strong for sure. Yeah, big time. Chocolate hazelnut's my game. I'm kind of stuck on that at the minute. Can't really make the commitment to change. It's such a big commitment.
I know.
Such a big commitment. All right, what do we have next? What other supplements do you take, if any?
I take omega-3 oils.
Lovely.
I take no, I can't pronounce it. Ashika AS.
Ashwagandha.
Yeah, them. I take them.
Okay.
Mm, And I take what else? There's something else I take. Vitamin D, just a wee spray.
Spot on.
Mm.
That's it. That's the works.
And creatine.
Creatine, excellent, nice. Yeah, you'd be wise to take creatine. Only for the simple fact that there is no downside to it, only positives. I suppose unless you're maybe a weight based athlete and you're retaining a little bit of water weight, but not a big issue for you. What was I going to ask? Oh, caffeine. Yes, caffeine. We big fan of caffeine. How do you take your caffeine? Do you take caffeine?
Caffeine, I take 2 caffeine tablets before every run in the mornings. And I would probably have, I don't drink Red Bull, I don't drink coffee. I would have a can of Boost every day. And since
Nice.
the Kickstarter, it's the sugar-free one. I just got hooked on the sugar-free one now. So,
Cool, nice, brilliant. What else do we have? What is your favorite fitness food? Like, what's your kind of like? It could be a fitness protein pudding. It could be your own kind of version. Like, for example, a meal I call bench toast, French toast with just egg whites. Do you have a kind of fitness food, a meal you really like? Moves you forward.
It's chicken fillet, throw it in the air fryer and just put it between two buns, a chicken fillet burger. And it's
Nice. Nice.
less, not much
Any
calories,
seeds
and
in it? Go again, sorry.
there's not much calories in it, and there's loads of protein in it. Like you're getting, well, probably around 40 grams of protein in it. So,
Yeah, large chicken fillet, is it?
mm.
And any seasoning? What do you like in your chicken?
Oh, just salt and pepper. I'm
Salt and
very
pepper.
simple there. Yeah.
Sauces, lettuce, red onion, cheese.
Oh no, I'm very fussy like that. I'm very plain Jane.
Simple. Yeah,
Mm.
cool. Nice. Salt, pepper, bun. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. Yeah, spot on. And again, stuff like that is so important because it's so easy. Like a bun, chicken fillet. Like you could be in a rush, 15 minutes, wrap that, bang it in, and again we're hitting our macros. Amazing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of if you're stuck and you need something quick.
Yeah.
Deadly. And then next, what's your favorite cheat meal? You're going off track. Just want to treat yourself. Just only care about how it tastes.
A meal or like,
Whatever you want. Let's do both. What else are you thinking?
oh, a lovely big cream bun in the home bakery.
Yes, love it. What are you going for? Pink slice, long bun,
Or the long cream ones, the long donuts with the cream in the middle.
and we jam line down the center.
Yeah.
They need to stop putting that thin foil over it because every time it steals my jam. Am I the
Yeah, it
only one?
does actually. Yeah. Just
Surely
lick
can't
it.
be the only one licking the bloody plastic with cream all stuck to my face like an absolute creep. But I do it anyway. So right, cool. And then what about savoury? So that's sweet. Any kind of savoury cheat meal you love?
Um, like, what do you mean?
Chinese, chippy, anything like that?
Probably burger and chip out of chippy again and plain Jane. So
Yeah, cool burger
not
chip.
really a
Love it. Yeah.
Chinese person. I wouldn't really eat much Chinese food. Not really.
Chinese 3-in-1s. I could eat a 3-in-1 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I would look ridiculous. You would be rolling me to work.
I used
Um,
to get those chicken balls, but like they give you a portion of 6, and I could only get through about 2 of them, and it was so full. Like so.
little tip: you can get a half portion
Mm.
in some places if they're nice to you, but maybe you're better off not knowing that information. And then obviously a running question: love or hate? Do you love running? Do you hate it? Do you love to hate it? How do you feel about running?
I love running when I'm not struggling. Now, the last, I'd say, 2 years, I've been struggling even on easy runs with my breathing. And I've tried everything. I thought I was getting an inhaler. The doctor gave me inhalers thinking it was me, that was the problem. And walked for a while, then stopped walking. I tried slowing down, and I was even struggling at slow pace. So I tried everything. I was tried different breathing patterns, everything. Nothing was working. Maybe it's just an age thing. Maybe I'm just slowing down because I'm getting older. And then I was thinking about then when I look back on my best times when I was getting podiums and I was getting PBs and everything, and I was like that. I was so thin. So that's when I decided to do the Kickstarter. I says maybe if I lose a few pounds then, and from I've lost a few pounds, I've noticed a big difference in my running.
A few
Big
pounds being
difference.
14, it's yeah. I know it doesn't. And again, like people to look at you at the time, and like obviously even now, it's like you wouldn't have thought that you had it to lose, but from that athletic performance sense, like 14 pounds, 6 kilo logged with you in every run, like that really adds up as the miles kind of crack on.
Yeah, like that's like what running with 2 7K dumbbells, like just throw
No,
them
no, no,
away.
no, no. 6.3 kilos a stone. So 14 pound, not
Oh
14
yeah,
kilo. So
it's never any good.
6.3. So again, yes, it's not that, and that's the thing about it and that is the thing about the finer margins. Like it's only 6 kilo. Like so, it's not like to press it over your head, to curl it, you can probably even lateral raise 6 kilo. Like it's not a big weight, but the issue with miles and the issue with endurance and body weight stuff is that every little bit adds up. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, listen, what can you shoulder press? I can shoulder press 7. What about 8? Okay, I could do 8. What about 9? What about 10? It's like it's only a kilo every time, but it doesn't be long adding up. But great, it's so yeah. We love running now that we're skinny mini again.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, just you mentioned you got your podiumed runs. What kind of runs did you win, or where did you place, or how did that go?
I got a couple of first place in 5Ks, and I got second place, third places in 10Ks.
You legend.
That was
Oh my
years ago now, when I was younger.
I have it in my head I will never win a race. I don't know why I have it in my head, but like what kind of times were you rocking to podium? That's amazing.
21 something, 21:50, 22, and then for the 5K, or the 10K, I think it was 45 something that I got
Yeah,
the.
so again, like you're running really, really good times.
Mm.
Obviously, this is it. So that's yeah, it's obviously why you podium. It's not like nobody else showed up. That's it.
Well, in some
I
ways,
remember
it was.
there was a couple of times that I had placed in championships, and I kind of felt like I was wearing a false medal because nobody really showed up. But I was still delighted. To be fair, I was like, I showed up. I did my best. Um, but yeah, that's I think that's the only chance I have of winning a 5K. But fair play to yours. That's really, really incredible stuff. And listen, you put in the miles. You really, really deserve it. So what else do we have? Are you flexible? How would you rate your flexibility? What's your kind of flexibility journey been like over the last 3-4 years?
Well, it was
Or actually, and
non-existent.
sorry, then even then, how has your relationship with flexibility impacted your running, if ever, even prior to fighting fit?
Um, Before fighting fit, my flexibility was non-existent. Like I was running along, and I never noticed it before, but I used to drag my feet when I was running, and like I run with some mornings with Jim Gonley. He'd be the coach, the main coach in Northeast Runners. He's a good friend of mine, And
I've
he
seen
used to
photos
say,
of that.
yeah, he used to say to me, "You're dragging your feet," and I said, "Aye, yeah." I thought nothing about it. Like, and I was doing PT sessions with Chris one time. We were working on mobility, and he showed me these hip flexor stretches to do, and he says, "Do 20 of them 3 times a day, or 60 a day, or whatever." I can't remember what the reps were, but he says, "And you will notice a difference in your running." And I said, "Right, sure, give it a go, no harm." And I was doing these for 2 or 3 weeks, and I noticed a big difference in my running. I was lifting my legs higher. And even Jim used to say, "Jesus, you're not dragging your feet anymore." I said, "These hip flexor stretches." So I showed him how to do them, and he was doing them then. And just I couldn't believe the difference. So then you started up the mobility classes yourself then, and I signed up to your mobility classes, and I do a bit of I do stretching after my runs, before my gym sessions in the mornings, and your mobility classes, and it's brilliant. As I said, like when I started fighting fit, I couldn't. When I was doing the foundations, when Sam got me to squat, I was in agony. I was dreading trying to, I was holding on, and then I was dreading even trying to get up because my knees were so stiff, but not anymore. I'm not saying my flexibility is 100%, but it's a lot better than what it was.
Exactly. And listen, that's like for everybody, that's the only metric that matters is it better than it was? Like, it's like obviously listen, there are some kind of standards that we would like everybody to get to avoid certain issues and that kind of stuff. But the road of progress is one to be proud of regardless. It's like if you're really trying your best and you're moving forward as much as you could move forward in the time period, since you started, it's like that's amazing. So fantastic. That's great. And it's great that you recognize how important it is because flexibility, I feel like, is something that gets a little bit of a bad label as something that is in isolation, like, flexibility. Oh, what, are you flexible? No, I don't need flexibility. It's not important to me. It's like, do you move?
See,
do
a
you?
lot of people, including myself, think, yeah, I'm 51. A lot of people think, oh well, you know what? I'm in my 50s now. I'm just getting stiff. It's old age. That's what it. And I myself included, like that's the way I thought. I'm getting older, like, but like it's not. It's just stiffness, and if
Yeah.
you stretch that out, like it's you know it's completely different. It's not old age that people
Bel-
think like.
Beliefs can be very, very powerful in a lot of different ways, both in positive and negative. It's like taken again, like whether you believed in your head that you could do a ring dip eventually. You're like, listen, if I just stick at it, I'll get it. That's what I know. That's what I've learned from past experiences. If I just kind of put my head down and do the work, I'll get it. That experience is super, super valuable. Understanding that with enough consistency, you can do something. And so having that belief, then, oh well, listen, I have proof of concept. I couldn't do X. I hammered at it for 6 weeks, then I got it. Cool. Now I understand what it takes to get something that I don't currently have. Flexibility is just like that. I used to be the most inflexible person you'd ever met. Well, I tell this story all the time, probably told it in this podcast before. When I showed up to be a Pilates coach and to do the course, like they were literally laughing at me because I couldn't sit on the floor with my legs crossed without like kind of falling back because I was just so tight and inflexible. And now if people see me in stretching, and they often will comment, oh, you're so flexible and that kind of stuff, it's like, yeah, I literally used to be the type of person that was wound up, wired tight, hated stretching, couldn't stretch, wouldn't stretch, didn't see the benefit, didn't see the point, and now it's bloody all I rant and rave about from the minute I get up in the morning. Because one of the cool things for me that happened was it took me an injury. I was kind of putting a lot of pressure on myself where, you know, there didn't need to be pressure, and it was kind of resulting in pain. And again, that's kind of what you experience with the squat, is just that when we try and move into a position that we're not flexible for, we'll feel resistance, and that resistance can feel like discomfort and pain, and that lack of ability to move into that muscle tissue can put pressure on other systems like your knees, and so we can end up squatting and having sore knees because our hips aren't working. We can have a sore back because our quads are too stiff and our hamstrings are too stiff. We're not fit to move is kind of the flexibility conversations. Like, are you flexible to squat? Are you flexible enough to get your arms over your head? And so once we kind of start relating flexibility to movements that matter to us, we can kind of start understanding why it's important. So last question, any advice to someone who is in a rut and looking to achieve, you know, your result, to stone down, maybe just run a 5K, maybe take on a marathon, or just change how they feel physically? What would you say to somebody who is currently, you know, sitting on the couch? They've got the Fighting Fit page open, but they're afraid to book the call.
I would say my magic word for me is consistency. You need consistency. You know, you need to get up. You need to get up, show up, do it, no matter. Like as I said this morning, I just wasn't feeling it, but like I was coming to the class anyway. Um, Consistency. Just if you're there and you're thinking, oh, do I need it? Do I not? Try it. What's the harm in trying? If you don't like it, you know, if it's not for you. But I guarantee you, when you get into something and you get into a wee routine and you're consistent, you'll love it and you'll get addicted, like me.
Yeah, I really do agree with you, Ursula, wholeheartedly. It doesn't necessarily matter the intensity of the effort, but what does matter is that you've shown up for the last 6 months. Like that, like consistency is the magic bullet. I completely agree with you, because if you are consistent with something, you will engage in the process of getting better. Like, no, most people aren't going to be consistent with sewing for 6 months and see zero improvement. It's like you're going to get better after 6 months of practice. And so that's the thing. It's like, well, what do you want to be good at? Do you want to be good at fitness? Well, you're just going to have to keep showing up. You might eat a pile of shit your first 5 or 6 sessions. I don't know any skill or practice that you do that you don't be poor at for the first wee while. And so yeah, just give fitness a chance and give yourself a chance at fitness, because one of the things I find with a lot of people is that they're so quick to criticize themselves. Like, they're not good at that after an hour, like their first session or the first 5 sessions, or maybe their first week, and so then they throw in the towel because
I
things
done the
just
same. I'm not perfect. When I started Fighting Fit, I was leaving after a week. I just was because I couldn't squat. I couldn't. I had a talk with me coach Sam, who was Sam at the time, and she says we'll do some mobility PT sessions, and that's what I done with Chris, and my mobility improved. And then when I went back to the classes, I could do the squats and do well. I wasn't perfect, but I was better than what I was, and then I started enjoying the classes. So so
So you identified a limiting factor and said, okay, all right, this is the one thing I don't enjoy. If I at least get better at this, I know I can kind of make it another wee while and push on and see. Because again, yeah, like a big part of the exercise that's uncomfortable for people, kind of back to the flexibility conversation, because that's kind of where you're leading to, is that exercise when you're not flexible or not mobile or not fit to do it. It's like, it's not hard, it's uncomfortable. I've seen you squat, for the last 3 years, and it's not like you're afraid of hard. It's not like you're afraid of effort, but pain is something that we just naturally avoid as human beings. And so again, yeah, if your squat is really, really uncomfortable, no doubt you're just not going to enjoy your session. So it's fantastic, Ursula, to see you kind of grown so much in terms of mobility, so that way you can enjoy the weight training. And it's great to see you constantly pushing yourself outside your comfort zone and trying to become the best runner that you can be by exploring different avenues, like your nutrition, like your weight, like the weight training, taking long-term factors like your bone density, and understanding what a massive impact, obviously, I suppose, after the pelvic pain, kind of completing that picture for you, going, okay, right, well, listen, if I have a big enough blind spot, everything's going to fall down. So I'm sure that experience to you is massively valuable.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
the best thing that ever happened to me was that I got injured. I'm not sure if you can say the same thing, but like when I got injured, that was a wake up call for me. I was like, there's a lot of things that I'm not doing right that need to change, and if I change them, I'm pretty sure that things will go well. But that process of taking that on can be quite daunting, especially when you feel like you're at the foot of the mountain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but look at you now, climbed the top of the Kickstarter mountain. You're on the Fighting Fit podcast. You've got your Fighting Fit mug. Your success story, Ursula. And I would just like to thank you so much for taking the time to come onto the call today, for sharing your story. Been a little bit vulnerable, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. It's great to be able to give people an insight of what I do.
And so again, guys, if you like this podcast, we really appreciate it if you could like the video, if you could subscribe to our Instagram or YouTube, all that fun stuff. Again, we really appreciate your support. We appreciate your support, specifically Ursula. And again, we want to keep doing content like this. So again, if it's helpful, comment, let us know. If you like these podcasts, there's lots more in the backlog. You can have a wee watch, and there's more coming up. So again, Ursula, thank you so much. And guys, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Thank you. Bye.